Today we are doing a double feature.
I don't think it was as scary as the other two.
It does a really, really good job of showing us the monstrosity of ourselves. And this movie, I think it does a really good job of showing us the humanity in ourselves. They built this like
An
like
apparatus.
like a
Yeah.
camera rig for
Or do you think the zombies are getting freaky in the forest?
Eric. Did you see that long dong zombie? Him holding on to his guitar at the end, even though it's broken. I think was such beautiful symbolism because that's his dream. He doesn't want to because that's his dream. There's nothing there left of it.
Rudyard Kipling wrote it as a way to understand soldiers' thoughts while they were marching. Even though this is an evil entity character, there's a little bit of humanity in him and misery. Like misery loves company.
Real quick, everybody, before this episode starts, we just wanted to tell you guys from the bottom of our hearts that we love you guys, and we would really love it if you loved us too. That's a weird way to say that.
Yeah, that is weird. That's okay. We love you.
No, but for real, if you like this podcast and you want to support us, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, give us a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or what else are we on? Amazon. Do those things for us, and we would truly, truly appreciate it. Yeah. I think that's all. Yeah, that's all. So do that, please. Okay, bye. Thanks.
Cinema Rolls Podcast.
Welcome to the Cinema Rolls Podcast. Today we are doing a double feature, but should I name both of the movies right here at the beginning, Eric, or should I just do one at a time?
Let's do one at a time.
Okay, so we'll start with. You want to start with 28?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we will be reviewing 28 Years Later. It's directed by Danny Boyle, who directed the first one, by the way. And it's written by Alex Garland, who wrote the first one, by the way. And it stars Jodie Comer, Aaron Taylor Johnson, Ralph Fiennes. Is it Fiennes?
Fiennes, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it also Lord Voldemort?
That is Voldemort. And he's also in Grand Budapest Hotel. He's also in Schindler's List. I think that's him, right? In Schindler's List. But he is an amazing actor, but that's beside the point. So that is what we are going to be reviewing right now. We will reveal, I guess the thumbnail will reveal what else we're reviewing, but we'll get to that one later.
Yeah.
With that, Eric, you want to take it away?
Yeah. I liked the movie. I thought it was really good. I saw it by myself the other day. I had a couple friends, so they were going to go with me, and then last minute decided not to go.
They bailed.
Yeah, but it's okay. I enjoy going to movies by myself. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I don't think it was as scary as the other two, but I think it was a good story. I think it was a beautiful story, and I think it looked great. That assuming it was shot on location, and I'm assuming it was Scotland, right? It looked like Scotland.
That's what it looked like. Yeah.
Yeah, Scotland looks beautiful. I'm gonna have to visit there at
It
some point.
does.
Yeah. But yeah, it was cool. I liked the characters, like the kid, Spike. Thought he did a good job. Like that actress. I think I've liked her in everything I've seen her in so far. So, really good movie.
Which actress? The
mom.
The mom?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did really good.
Yeah.
What else was she in?
She was in The Last Duel.
Oh, that's right. That's a good movie.
That's a good movie. And she's also in Free Guy, Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So you liked this movie, Aaron?
I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually.
I liked this one a lot, too.
Yeah.
Am I going to start with my view? I wasn't sure if you're done or not. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. It's I love 28 Days Later. Uh, that's probably one of my favorite zombie movies. I think it's the zombie movie that kind of kickstarted the whole zombie trend that happened in the 2000s.
Yeah,
Um, and so much so that the zombies kind of got killed out. We haven't really seen like a really solid zombie film for a while. I think the
yeah.
last one was probably Zombieland. I didn't like Zombieland
Zombieland.
2 that much.
Yeah, it was
Uh,
okay. I liked Warm Bodies, but that was
I
kind of
know you
after
like
that.
that movie, yeah, Warm Bodies.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, it started a whole trend, and that movie was awesome because it's kind of like an indie movie. Like it was shot on
yeah,
a really low budget camera. If you watch it nowadays, you'll see like how gritty that camera that they use. It seems like an old digital camcorder type of camera, which kind of works for that era. It feels like you're kind of getting
yeah,
teleported back to that time period
yeah.
when they made the movie. Um, and it's so good. But this movie, right? So the first one, I love it so much because zombie movies, they're different types of monster movies, right? For monster movies, it's like you have the humans, and then at some point you get a monster, and now it's like the humans versus the monster, right?
Mhm.
And so it's like we're dealing with an external force. But with zombie movies, they show us and they tell us that we're the monsters. We were the monsters before the apocalypse, and we're the monsters after the apocalypse. And it shows the darker side of humanity. Um, and 28 Days Later, I think it does a really really good job of showing us the monstrosity of ourselves. And this movie, 28 years later, I think it does a really good job of showing us the humanity in ourselves. And I think that's fucking beautiful. And
Yeah,
especially since 28 Weeks Later wasn't directed by Danny Boyle, kind of sucked. I watched it again, and I don't remember really liking it the first time watching it, but it had been a while, so I watched it again, and I was like, yeah, it wasn't that great. Um, but and it doesn't really convey any kind of real solid meaning besides these kids that are trying to get from point A to point B, and they're trying to kind of find a cure for it. That's
mhm,
about it. But the first one, it does a really good job of showing us our monstrosity. This third one does a really good job of showing us our humanity, and it has a lot of themes of like love and death and life and rebirth, and
yeah,
it's beautiful. I really really liked it.
yeah. It was good. It was a great movie.
Agreed, agreed, agreed. Um, do you want to go right into ratings, or do you have anything else you want to say?
Mm, now we can go to ratings.
Let's go into ratings. Why not? What would you rate it,
Yeah,
Eric?
I'm gonna rate it. I'm say a 9.
A 9.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go 8.5.
yeah,
Yeah. I was going back and forth between 8.5 and 9.
yeah. Same.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, it was really good. I uh I didn't pull up any like fun facts or anything like that, but I was curious because I was watching the movie in the theater, and I noticed they were doing something with the camera that I had never really seen before, and it kind of reminded me a bit of the Matrix, when they go
Mm-hmm.
into slow motion and they go around them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in the Matrix, it was done so that it was like a smooth transition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it seemed like it was snapping to a different camera. Like there's a part, and you could see it really well in one of the parts where the big dick zombie,
Yeah.
the 28 inches later, yeah, he drops down into the train,
Yeah.
uh, and that was right after the pregnant zombie gave birth, and he drops
Mm-hmm.
down, and the camera goes around his like feet, and
Yeah.
it's like snapping around, and I was like, what are they doing there? What camera are they using for that? And I looked it up, and turns
iPhones
out, yeah, iPhones, and they built this
and
like
apparatus.
yeah, like a
Yeah.
camera rig with a bunch of iPhones,
Mm-hmm.
and then a lot of the film is actually filmed on iPhones.
Yeah.
Um, iPhones and drones. And
Makes sense.
yeah, that's super cool because like I said with the first one, 28 days, they used a really kind of shitty camcorder and I think part of it was for budget reasons and other
Hmm.
I think it was also partly they wanted to kind of give it a more gritty feel and almost feel like almost like found footage, you know?
Yeah,
Um and so with this one it seems like Danny Boyle once again is pushing the boundaries of different of this medium and using different cameras and different kind of thinking outside the box,
yeah,
which is really cool.
yeah. It's awesome.
Sure. Do you have a favorite scene in the movie, Eric?
It would have to be when the son puts his mother's skull on top of
Oh
the
my god, I
pillar.
know.
Yeah,
It was so
and then
I was crying.
watches the sunrise. Yeah,
The kid kind of reminded me of Brandon's son.
Logan.
Yeah, he reminded me of Logan a little bit.
Okay.
It's been a while since I hung out with all of y'all and played D&D with you guys, but for some reason the kid reminded me of Logan.
Okay.
Oh
I did notice that when he was packing his stuff to go with his dad on like his first hunt, that he picks up an action figure, and that action figure is the Red Ranger from Power Rangers Operation Overdrive.
nice.
Yeah,
Nice. I wonder if there was any reason behind that.
I'm not sure. I mean, the first movie was in 2002, right? And Operation Overdrive was 2007. I don't know if it would take that long for the virus to get to Scotland from London. I would think I would probably have been sooner, but
Hmm.
um, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Um did you have like a favorite zombie movie?
Do I have a favorite zombie movie?
Yeah. Or
Hmm.
movies.
Well, I do like the Resident Evil movies, although I don't think I've actually seen the last one.
Okay.
Um, um, yeah, Warm Bodies, Shaun of the Dead, Zombieland.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead is my up there. I think it's one of if not my favorite zombie movie. And it's funny because it's like comedy,
Yeah,
but like I was saying earlier, zombie movies they show us that we're kind of the monsters before the apocalypse and after the apocalypse. So like that movie does really well is show us that we are zombies before we are zombies. You know what I mean?
yeah,
We're kind of like mindlessly wandering through life, and it shows it in the intro.
in the
You like
intro. Yeah.
the people are like shopping mindlessly, going to the grocery store or whatever, and they're
Hmm.
on their phones, like at the bus station. You know, just kind of like mindlessly wandering from point A to point B. And you even see with our main character Sean, where he's going from his house to the grocery store, I think, right? And
Yeah.
he kind of just mindlessly walks over there like almost every day. And then when the apocalypse happens, he does it again, not even knowing that there's zombies out because he's just so mindlessly doing the same routine over and over again.
Yeah.
So I love that movie because it does a really good job of showing us how we are kind of mindless zombies prior to becoming actual mindless zombies. It
Yeah.
shows that irony really well. Um, and then I think another one I really like is Train to Busan. Have you ever seen Train to Busan?
I still haven't seen it.
So good. Oh my god, so
That's what I've been told.
good. Yeah. I think actually that was the best zombie movie I've seen in a while, up until this movie came out. Um, but no one in America really watched it because it's a foreign film. Fucking Americans don't like to read subtitles, so they tend not to watch foreign films. Fucking
Yeah.
lazy motherfuckers. Bong Joon Ho actually made a funny comment about Americans uh, not reading subtitles and how they would open up like kind of their like a whole new film. Uh, what's the word? Like library, I guess, if they
Yeah.
would just read subtitles.
Right. Didn't he say that at the Oscars when he won his award?
I think he did when he won for
Yeah.
Parasite.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is a great movie.
that is another good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, 28 days later though, like it really changed zombie movies.
Yeah. But I don't know if it was the first, but I think it's the first popular zombie movie to have running zombies.
Fast zombies, yeah.
Yeah, which scared the hell out of my friend Amanda. I think it was actually the 28 weeks later she watched, but when the zombies ran in the movie, she was like, nope, and she will never watch another zombie movie again.
That's
Like,
so
doesn't
funny.
matter what it is. If it's a zombie movie, she's not watching it.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
And you could tell it really inspired a lot of other films and zombie films because like The Walking Dead. In 28 days later, he wakes up in the hospital after being in a coma.
Mm-hmm.
And The Walking Dead, Rick wakes up in the hospital too.
Yep.
Um, which was a very very popular show for a while till it got boring.
Yeah.
Like season 5, I think.
And it
Actually,
has what's that?
go ahead. You said it has what?
I was gonna say I don't even know how many spin-offs it has now, but I haven't watched any of them.
Me either.
Hmm.
I'm actually wearing the shirt. That's what I was gonna say. I'm wearing a Walking Dead shirt. It says "Keep calm and don't trust the government and don't." It keeps going forever and ever.
Yeah.
But it references the show. I think it says The Walking Dead on the back or something. I forget. I don't know where it says it. It says it somewhere at the bottom. Yeah, I love zombies. I used to go to zombie crawl all the time.
Yeah. Zombie crawl hasn't happened, I don't think, since the pandemic, which is pretty sad.
Dang.
Yeah.
That the near apocalypse killed the apocalypse, huh?
Yeah.
That's sad. Did you get a chance to watch 28 Days or Weeks later this week?
No, I just watched a recap on YouTube, which I don't
Okay,
think I really needed, but
gotcha. Yeah, no, this movie 28 years feels like it could have been a standalone movie.
yeah.
Also, the zombies in this movie uh, reminded me a little bit of the Titans from Attack on Titan.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. The way
With
they
them
ran
with
and
them being naked and them running like
yeah,
this and shit.
yeah.
I was like,
Hmm.
Attack on Titan?
Which is funny because Attack on Titan is called Japan's Walking Dead.
Oh, really?
It's what they
That's
it's what
funny.
they put on the books, yeah. So
That's funny. Yeah, and honestly, it does kind of feel a bit Attack on Titan-y with their wall and whatnot.
yeah,
They have like a wall to keep it out, all the zombies out and shit. And then they have a person now, well, with his son going out with them, people going out into the mainlands to scavenge and hunt. Whereas
yeah,
in Attack on Titan, they kind of have the same thing.
right.
They have a troop that goes out and does it.
The pregnant zombie, do you think this lady was pregnant and became a zombie, or do you think the zombies are getting freaky in the forest?
Eric, did you see that long dick dong zombie? That dude was putting it down, son. That dude was putting it down. I think that's why he kept coming back for them, the little alpha
Yeah,
guy. I think he wanted his
yeah.
baby.
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
Yeah. That shit was crazy, yo.
Yeah.
That shit was so crazy. But it was
Samson.
Samson, yeah. It was really cool and it fit the theme of the whole life and rebirth thing too.
Hmm.
I saw a thing where Danny Boyle was talking about how 28 years later, 28 years from then, you would see the survivors kind of evolve to kind of like live within this world. But you'd
Hmm.
also, for if the virus has survived for that long, you would think the virus also evolves. So
Yeah.
that's why he kind of changed it up to this kind of like now they're kind of becoming almost like a wolf pack type thing where their viruses evolved to survive and they become kind of hunters in their own regard,
Yeah.
which is cool. Yeah, it was well thought out, well planned, well written, well directed, well shot, well made movie.
Yeah.
Did you notice? And this might be a good transition. I don't know if you want to move from this movie yet, but did you notice that in the Irish dude that shows up at the end of 28 years later
Jack O'Connell.
is Jack O'Connell? Yeah,
Yeah.
from Sinners,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I did like because the movie opens with that kid running away and meeting his dad, who I guess was a priest, and he gives him that crucifix, and then it doesn't say anything after that, so we don't know if like that kid was like the main character's dad in the movie that we were watching, but then the kid actually shows up at the end, and he has like that gang of what seemed like gymnastics or like circus folk or something. I don't know.
Just crazy Irishman.
Yeah.
Which at first I thought, I was like, okay, this is kind of a little too silly. I was like, why are they ending it like this? But then I was like, oh, it's the kid from the beginning.
Hmm.
I had almost
Jimmy.
forgot. Yeah, Natalie was like, oh, it's the kid from the beginning, and I was like,
Yeah.
what beginning? What are you talking about? And
Yeah.
she was like, the Teletubbies, and I was like,
The Teletubbies.
oh, right, the Teletubby kid.
Do you think the reason why they're wearing different color tracksuits is because of Teletubbies?
Maybe, yeah. It's almost like they carried that throughout their childhood and existence, that like whole like that fond memory of them
Yeah.
watching Teletubbies together.
Yeah. Could that be that Jack O'Connell's character is Tinky Winky then? He
Maybe,
was wearing purple, wasn't he?
and maybe also too. That's why that kid picks up the Power Ranger fucking toy.
Yeah.
You know, the heroes in different colors show up and save them later.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though the kid didn't really need saving, he was kind of killing it on his own. But
He was, yeah. He was doing good.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good stuff. I really liked the movie. You want to move to the next movie?
Yeah, I'll move on. Jack O'Connell's other movie this year, which is probably, aside from 28 Years Later, which is one of the best movies I've seen this year, I'd say Sinners is the best movie I've seen this year.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the two movies we're reviewing today, which is really cool. I was really excited to do this episode because
Yeah.
these two movies are, I think, to me, the best movies I've seen all year.
Yeah. 100%.
So yes, right now we will be reviewing Sinners, and it is
Sinners.
directed by Ryan Coogler, written by Ryan Coogler, and stars Michael B. Jordan, Miles Caton, and Saul Williams. Um, Eric, would you like to say why we decided to do Sinners now and also give your review?
Yes. So we waited on doing Sinners because by the time we started the podcast, it was already been like what, a couple of weeks since the movie had come out, and by the
Yeah,
time we put the episode out, it'd be even a week later.
we thought we missed the train.
Yeah. So we're putting it out now because the uh, Blu-ray, the physical copy, will be coming out soon on July 8th, which I think, if I'm doing this right, our podcast will come out the day after on that Wednesday, the following Wednesday.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So it's just coincide with the release of home video, which you can get it digitally now if you want to do that, but go physical copy if you can.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. But yeah, Sinners, great movie, as we've established already in like every episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. Ryan Coogler is killing it. I loved every movie he's made so far. Um, he just might be like my new favorite director. 'Cause, yeah, he hasn't missed.
He
Um,
really hasn't, huh?
yeah, and he seems to love film. Like there's that whole
Yeah.
video of him explaining like why he chose certain aspect ratios for this movie and to film on. Was
Hmm.
it 40 millimeter? What was it?
Yeah. Well,
60
it's different.
millimeter?
He
Yeah,
used a good amount of different ones
yeah,
in it, but the IMAX one I want to say is 40 millimeter,
yeah,
right?
I think
I
so.
think I'll look it
Um,
up.
but it's big. I don't have any film around me. Otherwise, I'd show you what a typical
Sheesh.
33 millimeter would
It's
be.
70 millimeter.
70. It's
Sheesh.
huge.
And I liked how he hit up Christopher Nolan for advice with the IMAX camera.
Yeah, which is cool. And I love that there are directors that will still shoot on film.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really any replacing film. Digital looks great and it'll continue to get better. I don't think it'll ever compare.
Yeah. Film has that. Feels like you could touch it. You know?
Yeah,
Has that
yeah, it
texture.
really does. And if you watch it on a projector, like a legit film projector, hearing that click in the background, to me, that's the movies, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, great movie. Um, Michael B. Jordan's great in it. Haley Steinfeld, um, Delroy Lindo, right? Who played the other blues musician,
Delta
Miles
Slim?
Cotton. Yeah,
Yeah, Delroy Lindo, yeah.
yeah. And then the new guy, I think this is his first movie.
Yeah.
He did great.
Miles Caton, or I
Yeah,
think it's Caton or Caton. I'm not sure
I
which
think
one.
it's Caton, but I don't know.
It's Caton. So y'all decide.
Um, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
he.
they all did great.
Yeah,
Mhm.
everyone
Michael B.
showed up.
Jordan, yeah, two roles. Um, yeah, and
This might.
what's hmm?
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say that even though it's Michael B. Jordan and two different roles, they're very distinct characters, even as twins. Like I don't think you can confuse them.
Yeah,
Like it's very obvious which character he is when he's on screen.
right. Yeah, he did a good job of
Yeah.
that, which I'm sure is really hard to do.
Hmm.
And this actually might be my favorite role Michael B. Jordan's in. I think the other one I really like is Creed, but
Hmm.
yeah, this one you could really see his acting ability shine.
Yeah. Yeah, and he definitely did something that was a little more out of his element. He said he doesn't really like horror movies, and I think it's his first horror movie that he's been in. And
Yeah, I mean he was in that Love, Death, and Robots episode. No, I'm not sure if you consider that horror though. It was more sci-fi, I guess.
I haven't seen it.
Eric, have you watched any Love, Death, and Robots?
I think I watched one, maybe
How,
two episodes.
how dare you? It's so
Yeah,
good. It's
yeah,
so that's another show I forgot to mention I was watching a while back, but I finished it already.
yeah,
It's really good.
awesome. But yeah, as far as the movie goes, I liked it. I don't know if you want to get into more details or you want to do your review first.
I mean, doesn't matter. I'll go. I'll try not to say
Yeah,
too much so we can both kind of talk about the details. I mean, there's a lot to talk about with this movie.
yeah,
Um, I really love this movie. It's one of those movies. When I was saying earlier, in one of our previous episodes of the podcast, and I was saying that when I was talking about Do the Right Thing,
yeah,
and I was saying like sometimes there's like pieces of the puzzle that like are
mhm,
out there, and it just takes like one person to kind of start putting it together. And I feel like Ryan Coogler did the same thing with this movie. Um, like the all the elements match each other really well. The whole idea of music breaking the veil and piercing the veil and touching past and future uh, is kind of something uh, I've always kind of thought about, not just with music but with art. It's like everything kind of ties into one thing and then kind of shoots it out the other end and then branches off to some other things. You know, and with a really good piece of art, like you'll get like a branch on each side. It's almost like um, like in Marvel, the timeline branches. You know what I mean?
mhm,
And then if you get it to funnel into like one section, that funnel is like that good piece of art, right? So you'll take from like all these different things like music, blues, gospel, vampires, um, voodoo, whatever, right? You take all these inspirations and you funnel it through this piece of art, and then afterwards it branches out, and then people start getting inspired by your piece of art, and then other things get created from it. And that's what this movie is to me. It's beautiful and wonderful piece of art that was pulled from a lot of different inspirations, and I had a lot of fun when it first came out trying to pick out all the different things that he was inspired by, because they're all kind of things I was fairly aware of. There are a couple things that when I started researching that were kind of new to me, but yeah, it was amazing. I love it. Do you want to maybe let's do ratings for this movie first, and then we can get into the details, which would be kind of part of the whole fun facts thing.
Sure. Yeah. I will give this a 9.5.
It's exactly what I was going to give it. 9.5.
Nice. Yeah.
And like I'm sure people might think like, why not the full 10? You know, and uh, I don't know. I feel like it's my favorite movie this year, but and it's not at all saying that it's like like could have been better, right? I don't know what he could have done to make it better. But I will say that the Choctaws kind of got loose ended. Like they were there
Yeah.
and then they weren't. Um, the whole idea of I feel like they're really kind of starting to lean into that whole you mess with the Italians and you mess with the Irish, they're both gonna come after you, right? And that never really. I feel like they could have just he could have just left it out. It wouldn't have really mattered if they had mentioned it or not. Um, but this is nitpicky, really really nitpicky, like you know, and there's other movies that I think I would reserve for that 10 out of 10 spot that are like my favorite movies. This is up there with my favorite movies too. Not gonna lie, this is gonna definitely go on my favorite movies list. Um, but I don't think it will take number one, right? So that's why I decided to go with 9.5. But it's a beautiful movie. It's definitely the best movie I've seen all year.
Yeah. Agreed.
I think Ryan Coogler saved cinema with this one.
Yeah. I mean, with this film, you definitely got people to go to the theater. Like it was
Yeah,
selling out through word of mouth. Uh, it stood in the top one spot for a while, top five for a long time. I think it's even still in some theaters.
for sure. It's one of those
Yeah.
movies where like it didn't come like there's like certain movies that are like blockbusters, usually done by like big studios, mostly Disney nowadays. Um, that where regardless of what they put out, they're gonna make a fuck ton of money the opening weekend, if it's good or if it's bad, right? People will go see it, and honestly, that's all that the studios really care about. That's why they've been
Mhm.
putting out such dog shit movies. But so all these people come opening weekend, and it's dog shit, and then it's people don't go see it, right? Because then people start hearing through word of mouth. Ah, it was bad, right? No, I don't want to spend money to go watch something bad. I'm not gonna go see it. I'll wait till it comes on Disney Plus, which it'll come out in like a month anyways. You know, um, so but with this movie, I like vampires. I uh, liked Ryan Coogler's previous films, and then I was curious because I get a lot of stuff on my YouTube algorithm about film, and he popped up with that film aspect ratio of it,
Mhm.
and I watched that, and then I was like, I'm sold. I could see the passion uh, in him
Yeah.
about this movie, and I could feel like I felt like he put everything he had into it, you know. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is gonna be good, yo. So then that's why I went to go see opening weekend, um, and well, it was amazing. It blew my mind. And then after that, everybody was talking about it online for weeks, and that's what kept it in theaters for so long, and that's what made it so much money. It was just really good.
What's great is that this is an original idea, um, and it has Michael B. Jordan, who is a huge actor, but everyone else isn't as big in the movie. And working in the theater for so long, for a while there, studios relied on big stars to sell their movies. Like I
Yeah.
remember people would come to the box office and just say Robin Williams. Like, okay, they don't even know the title of the movie. So like they want to see whatever he's in, you know. So,
Right.
but then there was a switch from stars to IP. So like Marvel, DC, like um things like that. Like people like these franchises, and they know people are going to go see them regardless if it's good or bad or who's in it. Um, so the fact that an original film did so well, it's not relying just on star power and not relying just on IP and stuff that you already know, but it's giving you a completely new story, and that people went to go see it and loved it, and it made so much money is it's awesome, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think what's also cool too is that he kind of bet on himself, right? I think the
Hmm.
studio gave him this really awesome deal with this movie to eventually get like ownership. I think ownership
Yeah,
of the movie after like I think like 30 years, something like that. Um, which studios don't really do, right? Because
right.
if it's a hit, then they can make money on it for forever, right?
Yeah,
Which is what they've been doing with all these remakes and whatever, right?
yeah.
Um, so and I think the studio they didn't really think it was going to be as big a hit as it was, which is probably why they cut him that deal. And so he
Hmm.
bet on himself and he won, yo. And now he's not just making money from like right now, but like 30 years from now when this movie still lives on, which it will because it's a really good movie. He's just gonna be, he could do whatever he wants with it.
Yeah.
So
It's awesome.
yeah, and he killed it. He home run. All the
Yeah,
bases were filled, and he got a home run.
yeah.
Um, so I was thinking for fun facts instead of fun facts for this, I was thinking maybe we can kind of speculate on all the symbolism in this movie because it has a lot.
Yeah.
Um, I made a whole video about it already, but for maybe new fans of this podcast or people that didn't watch my video, we could just talk about it now. And then, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, I have all my notes from when I made the video. You want me to just kind of ramble and you can chime in when you want?
Sure, that works. Yeah.
unless you have anything very um I don't know, something that you might have saw or noticed that you want to point out yourself.
There are a few things, but I think when you're going over your notes there'll be points where I could come in and add something. So,
Okay, sounds good. So I think the reason I made that video was because when this movie came out, there was a lot of people that were just like talking out of their ass about what things meant or what things were and uh, what it was, and I hate that shit when I'm on social media. I don't get on social media often, but when I do, and I see people like talking nonsense and talking bullshit or like being pseudo intellectuals or pretending like they know things about things they don't really know about, it pisses me off. So I uh, I made a whole video about it, and one of the a lot of the things we were saying where it's like the seven deadly sins and what the why vampires and whatnot. So for me, the vampires or the vampire, I should say, represents the devil. Um, Miles Caton's characters, Preacher Boy, he is kind of symbolic of uh, the uh, Delta blues musician. What's his name? Something Johnson, right?
right. Sold his soul to the devil.
Who sold his soul to the devil? Yeah. So, gosh, I can't remember his name now. I want to say
Yeah,
it's Tommy Johnson, but that's his name in Oh Brother Where Art Thou. That's not his real name. Um,
well, I wasn't using it.
I love that scene. Yeah. So you sold your soul to the devil. He's like your one and only soul. Robert Johnson. His
Robert
name's
Johnson.
Robert Johnson. So he's symbolic of Robert Johnson, who sold his soul to the devil at the crossroads. and he played Delta blues music, and his music was very successful. And that story is kind of crazy. I think if anyone wants to like go check it out, I think it's probably the most fun to find out about it is just to go look it up. It's a
Yeah.
crazy story. Um, so and this has been a kind of a like a tale since music has existed. You know, people selling their souls to the devil, right? Even Lady Gaga said that the devil approached her, right? So like, I mean, I don't know how true that is, but you know, I'm not saying it's a fact, but like it's been a thing for a minute now, right? And Preacher Boy represents that, and uh, the vampires are the vampires offering him a way out, right? Because he's oppressed uh, by the white man, the white devil, right? And Jack O'Connell's character sees himself in the kid because his people, the Irish, were also oppressed by the British, um, which is super cool too because the music, the Irish folk music, is music that was created out of oppression. And then the blues, Delta blues, is another music form that was created out of oppression. So that ties in really well. Um, but yeah, so he's a devil kind of offering him like immortality, you know, a way out, freedom, you know, uh, something that he may not be able to obtain on his own, right? He's giving them an offer, uh, and luckily Preacher Boy doesn't take the offer, but he's the devil. Um, and then something I didn't see anybody talk about, which I thought was interesting because I mean I don't want like I said I don't get on social media often, but when this movie came out, I saw a lot of people speculating on all the different symbolism, all the different symbols in the movie, and what it meant. But no one talked about the the Chinese character, Lisa Chow. Is that her name?
Chow, yeah. I mean, I there was some controversy and people talking about the Asian characters in the movie,
Grace Chow.
but
Grace Chow, right? Oh no,
mhm,
that's the daughter.
that's the daughter.
What the heck is? What are people saying online, Eric?
I don't know. I didn't see a lot of people like post much. I've watched other videos talking about the Asian characters. I actually just watched one not too long ago. But I guess people just didn't really know or understand the history of Asians or Chinese in America and in the South and
Yeah, they might as well have
how,
been slaves too, building that railroad.
yeah. Um, but I guess they also, because they weren't white, but they also weren't black, they were kind of able to
Established
be
businesses and whatnot.
establish businesses and kind of be like an in between for the black and the white.
Yeah,
And which is why in the movie they own grocery stores on both
both
sides. So
sides.
yeah,
Which is one of my favorite shots in the movie is when he tells the daughter to go get her mom,
yeah,
and there's a oner that follows the kid across the street and then follows the
yeah,
mom back.
yep. Good thing.
I really like that shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no one really talked about it, at least for what I saw. And there's a very uh, beautiful visual of when she kills her husband and she's on fire. And when I saw it in theaters, I knew it was like supposed to represent the monks that lit themselves on fire, the Tibetan monks. Because I had seen it before, right? It was something that I was really curious about when I had found out that monks lit themselves on fire in protest. So I was like, "Whoa, that's really interesting." But I never really knew why they were what they were protesting against, and why they were protesting, and they were protesting religious oppression, right? They were also being oppressed, the monks, by the government, and so in protest they lit themselves on fire in the street, and I think in this movie you have a lot of themes about religion. You have a lot of themes about faith and oppression, and I think that scene, that visual, the monks light themselves on fire, and then the two Chinese characters being lit on fire and just kind of staying in the fire. Um, it, I think it's symbolic of those monks, and I think it's symbolic of those monks because the themes fit. And I didn't see anyone else really talk about that at all, but I think to me that makes the most sense. And the scene in the lake where Jack O'Connell's character is about to turn Preacher Boy into a vampire, and Preacher Boy starts saying the Lord's Prayer, and he starts saying it with him.
Yeah.
Not only is that kind of something that tells you a little bit of history about this this vampire. It tells you, it shows that it's a subversion of baptism. So which further pushes the narrative that he's the devil, right? He's trying to convert Preacher Boy turn him onto his side, right? Sell his soul to him. And so, and in a way, you kind of do that when you get baptized, right? You're kind of giving your soul to God, right? You're saying, I belong to you now. And so that them being in the lake and then saying the Lord's Prayer, it's subverting the baptismal ritual and showing that he's trying to turn Preacher Boy onto his side, on the devil's side. So that seems super, super cool.
It was, yeah.
One of the themes is oppression, right? So when you're watching this, you're like, okay, well, who's the oppressor, right? There's no real antagonist oppressor in this movie, and there is. It's the KKK, right? And they're barely in it, but that's what they are. They represent the oppressor, and just the time period alone tells you a bit about Black culture then and Black people being oppressed then. So they don't really need to be in it a lot because you already know just from that time period and the conversations that happened throughout it that's their main antagonist. That was every Black person's main antagonist back then was white people. That's they represent the oppressor, the KKK. And I like that scene too, where Smoke kills them, and the KKK leader says, "You're going to hell," right? And he turns and looks, and he sees his wife and kid, and I feel like that was like saying like, "Oh, he's going to a better place." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the white dude was wrong, obviously.
Obviously.
And then he lights him up, which felt very Tarantino-esque, right?
Yeah.
When Tarantino had the Bear Jew blasting Hitler in the face.
Yeah.
So that it felt kind of like that, and you could tell. I think you could tell that Coogler really likes Tarantino. And obviously, this movie feels like From Dusk Till Dawn. I know Tarantino didn't direct that; that was Robert Rodriguez, but it was co-written by Tarantino. So that's cool. You can see the inspirations there.
Yeah.
And I think this movie, it has like that voodoo, like that like African voodoo in it. It's not called voodoo. I think it's called hoodoo.
Hoodoo, yeah.
Hoodoo, right?
I think hoodoo is African American thing mostly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's got that in it, and it's got Christianity in it, which is kind of supposed to be kind of a I feel like people didn't understand why they're both being represented, and I think some people were trying to say like, oh, like the Christianity portion was kind of like the bad religion, or like they're kind of, it's almost like there's a debate on which faith you're supposed to have after watching this movie, and I don't think that's the point. I think the point is you're supposed to have faith, just like kind of like in Dogma, they have that conversation. They're like, where they're like, it doesn't matter, which domination, what's the denomination you have, it just matters that you have faith, right? And same with this movie. I think
Yeah.
Preacher Boy goes back to being Christian, even though he denounces his father. Right, he goes back to the church, denounces his father because he still wants to pursue his dreams, but he doesn't let go of who he is. Right, him holding on to his guitar at the end, even though it's broken, I think was such beautiful symbolism because that's his dream, right? That's his dream. And if his dad's like, put down the guitar, boy, right? And he doesn't want to because that's his dream. There's nothing there left of it, but he can't let go of it because that's all he has to live for. And so he doesn't. He leaves and he pursues his dream. So the whole idea is to pursue your dream, but keep your faith, keep true to who you are, keep true to yourself. Don't go down the wrong path, right? The wrong path may pursue you. The devil may pursue you, but don't go down. Remember who you are, but follow your dreams, but remember who you are. And I love the post credit scene because that further pushes that idea. Where they're in the beginning of the movie, they're singing this little line of
It's a little
mine.
light of mine.
And what's cool about this is like I feel like because of that you kind of see the contrast and juxtaposition of gospel and blues that were happening at that time. Whereas gospel was kind of seen as like the good Christian music, and blues was seen as like that's the devil's music, right? Like it was.
Yeah.
You see the contrast just right there. And at the end of the movie, when Preacher Boy is in the church and he's putting that blues twist on this little line of mine, I feel like it's just saying like, look, like you're putting this social construct of it being the devil onto it when you could still have your faith but still enjoy these things that are here for us to enjoy here in the world, right? We are here for a short period of time. There's a lot of things in this world that may be considered bad or good, but you can still be a good person and enjoy these things. You know what I mean? And I think it further pushes the idea that he didn't denounce God. He denounced the devil. He pursued his dream, but kept true to himself with his Christianity and the gospel and whatnot. So
And I like that scene because I feel like he's making a statement with his music. He's playing, this traditional gospel song. He's putting the blues like twist on it, and he's saying that this music, this is my light, and I'm going to let it shine.
yeah, I see that too. Yeah,
You know?
that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful movie, yo.
Yeah.
What do you think about the seven deadly sins, Eric? Do you think they're represented by the characters or no?
I don't know if I'd say the seven deadly sins are. I mean, greed is obviously represented, um, lust, adultery, I guess. I don't know, but um, I don't think he was going to show like, all of the seven deadly sins. I think he was just trying to show that they
They're
are
sinning.
sinners,
Yeah.
which I think the whole character of Perline is in the movie for that reason because she's married, she's flirting with uh, what's
Xiao.
his face the whole time, Sammy. Yeah, no, I don't like her character, but like for the most, like Sammy is pretty innocent in the movie. Like we haven't seen him really do anything wrong. Yeah, he likes this married lady, but they haven't done anything until the point when they do, and he finds the button, and then
Yeah.
at that point he then does sin, and now they're all sinners, and
Yeah.
so even him, like they all should get what's coming, which is the vampires and damnation.
Right. Yeah. That's yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
She was honing it up. Um
Yeah.
this this movie too. I mean, yeah, I don't think because I saw a lot of people trying to like pin the seven deadly sins on each character, like, oh, he represents this, he represents that. No, no. I think, and I'm not even sure if all seven of the deadly sins are represented, but I know that a few of them did get represented, especially lust, because they're all kind of hooking up at some point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just they're represented in different ways, and they're all kind of there, just to kind of show you that yeah they are sinning. That's why they are sinners. Um, what do you think of Haley Steinfeld's character?
I liked her. Um,
Yeah,
I mean, she's kind of hoe too, but
yeah. This movie made me look at her as not a kid anymore. I feel like for the longest I kind of
yeah.
saw her as a kid, and this movie was like she was saying some crazy shit, and I was like, whoa,
Oh,
I don't know how to feel about this.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I liked was what Annie, the character Annie, uh, and at one point when Cornbread had turned, he comes, he's trying to get back in, and she calls him something I had never heard before. And when I saw the movie, I thought she had said hate, which I thought was interesting.
Mm.
But when I looked it up, she said haint,
Haint.
and
Hmm.
a
I don't think I
haint,
caught that.
yeah, is like a demon. I guess it uh, like creeps in through cracks in your window or underneath your door. It's like even coming through a keyhole,
Hmm.
and it slowly like sucks like the life out of a person. And so like the person who they're affecting will start to be like constantly tired and maybe act a little different. And they could also like
Like
um
an energy vampire.
yeah, and they could also take on they could appear as someone you know to kind of like trick you. Um
Interesting.
yeah, and to kind of keep them at bay, in the South, apparently, you'll see that people's porches and windowsills are painted this uh, shade of blue, which is called haint blue, and
So like
that's
a light
apparently
blue?
yeah, it's a lighter blue, and apparently they don't like that color, so they tend to stay away from it.
Cool.
Which I think is why Smoke
Smoke. Where's the blue?
wears blue. He doesn't become the vampire.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and then Stack is wearing red, which obviously has been symbolic in almost every horror movie.
yeah,
But um that makes
and
a lot of sense. That's cool.
yeah, and then with that, uh, I know people say like everyone obviously makes the point to be like, oh, it's like From Dusk Till Dawn, you know, and it is, and it obviously drew
Yeah.
inspiration from that.
Yeah.
But another Robert Rodriguez film that Coogler has said that he took inspiration from for this movie was The Faculty, which
Oh,
not a lot of
okay.
people know of that movie or have seen it.
Is that kind of like is that kind of like uh what's it called? Where like the mind gets taken over, the mind what's it called? There's an older movie that's similar to it, right?
Yeah, so I would say it's probably like Invasion of the Body
That
Snatchers
was what I was thinking of. Yeah, it's
in
like
high
that,
school.
right?
It's
Yeah,
pretty much
yeah,
what
I
it's
remember
like.
the
Yeah,
Faculty. That was directed by Robert Rodriguez.
Robert Rodriguez. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but I think he said recently he's going to do something with it, like a sequel or a reboot or something. But yeah. So that's obviously like how the vampires act in these films. They have a hive mind,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's interesting. He pulls from all these different inspirations.
Hmm. Yeah, that's good art to me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Also too, I wanted to mention the Choctaw. I didn't talk about the Choctaw.
yeah, the Choctaw.
The Choctaw. Why the Choctaw were in it? A lot of people wanted to know. I will tell you. Um,
Didn't they have close relations with the Irish?
They did. They did have close relations with the Irish. So what happened was during the famine, the Choctaw saw that they was struggling and they was oppressed and they needed some help. So Choctaw, they gathered some money to send to them, and it wasn't much. They didn't have much, but they put together some money that they had and they sent it over to the Irish to help them out. I think it was a couple $100, and
Yeah,
nowadays it'd be like maybe a couple like 1,000, maybe a little over $1,000 that they sent him, which isn't much, but it's something, right?
Yeah.
And the Irish really appreciated it, and they still have close ties with the Irish to this day. I think during COVID, the Irish sent them some help.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, they're like homies. And now, why were the Choctaw hunting the Irish vampire? Nobody knows. But I think I think Coogler just really wanted to make sure that they are represented.
Yeah. In my head canon, what I like to think happened is Remick, Irish vampire, came to America. I don't know when, but wherever he was or in his travels, he probably came upon the Choctaw, and since the Choctaw and the Irish are close, he probably thought he could seek refuge with them. And when they realized what he was, they probably killed his people, and that's what he took
They're like,
off.
oh hell no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that would be my assumption. But
that's cool though. I like that lore. I like that lore.
yeah,
We'll just make it canon.
yeah, we have the authority to do that.
Yeah,
We're cool with Kugler.
yeah, yeah. A lot of people were talking about maybe him making a spin-off with the Choctaw, but last I heard from Coogler that he didn't want to make a sequel for it. He wanted to be like its own standalone thing, which is cool. I like that.
Yeah,
Everyone wants to be Marvel nowadays. It's cool to have someone that's just like, we'll leave it as it is.
that's fine the way it is.
The best stories have an ending, okay? Okay, One Piece, all right? End it already. Do you want to give any suggestions for well, before that, do you want to say anything else about, I don't know, just cool things about this movie or fun facts,
Uh,
anything like that?
oh, Jack O'Connell agreed to do the movie because he got to sing Rocky Road to
Rocky
Dublin.
Road to Dublin. I love that song, yo. And I actually was doing a little bit of research about it because
Mhm.
it's an old song. And this guy who no one knows what he looks like, he wrote it in like the early 1800s. His name was like DK Gavin. DK Gavin, I think.
Donkey Kong Gavin.
Yeah, Diddy Kong Gavin. Um, but he wrote songs in like, I guess like at a paper. It was like printed at a
Hmm.
printing press, and that was one of the songs that he wrote. And it's about a boy who lives in Ireland, and he travels to Britain like once a year to go try to. I'm assuming provide for his family to get, because during the famine and whatnot, they didn't even have good harvest. That's why they're you know what I mean. One, the British were stealing food from them, and two, they weren't able to harvest anything, so they were going through a famine. And so the boy would go to England to um, farm and hunt and whatever else, so you could bring food back. So the Rocky Road to Dublin is him walking back home to Dublin, um, and yeah, and that's a super cool song because, like I said, the Irish were oppressed, and Irish folk music comes from oppression.
Isn't it about him like being like the English like kind of like bullying him, being mean to him on the road, and then the only people that would help him was other Irish
Yeah,
people.
yeah. So I think in the song, yeah, he says something about swinging his stick. I guess it's about a real guy that existed that used to do that. I'm not sure entirely. Don't quote me on that. But um, yeah, he at some point while he's in England, the English are bullying him, and he talks about how his temper is rising, and something about oh shillelagh, which is that's like my favorite part of the song. And he starts
Oh
like
yeah,
swinging his stick at them, and he's able to kind of fight him off and go back home to Dublin, um, which is super cool, and I think ties to this movie very well. And Jack O'Connell, right? That's his name. Or
hmm
did I butcher that?
Jack O'Connell is his name. I think he's actually English. But
So he was raised in England, I believe, but he has his ancestry is from Ireland. But I think I saw a video of him recently saying like, "No, I'm Irish." You know what I mean? I no
yeah,
longer like
he
I was born and raised in England, but I'm Irish. Like
yeah.
I now fully accept that I'm not English. I'm Irish. Which is cool. He's like taking back his culture. I totally understand that, being Mexican American, not speaking Spanish, raised in America, and I talk like a white person. Um, so many,
Yeah,
so many. You said what?
that scene from Selena really
Yeah,
hits hard.
yeah. It's like, we gotta. What do you say? We gotta be
You got to be more Mexican than the
the
Mexicans,
Mexicans,
and
yeah,
more American than
than
the
the
Americans.
Americans.
It's
It's
exhausting.
exhausting. Yeah, so true. Um, yeah, and which is why I relate to the Halee Steinfield character, because she's the white and passing character, and she kind of the in between. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Oftentimes I felt like I didn't fit in because the Mexican kids at my school, they all spoke Spanish and whatever. I didn't, and they
Hmm.
would all just assume I was white. Then I go hang out with white people, and they'd be like, "Oh, he's brown," and he has like all this culture that he comes with. I remember like one time I had I think it was a graduation party, and like all my white friends came, and they're like, "It's so Mexican," and I was like, "I didn't know it was, but I guess so." Just felt like a party to me. So yeah, I felt too Mexican for the whites and too white for the Mexicans oftentimes. So
Yeah,
totally get
our
that, Jay.
cousins often called me a coconut. So
You're brown on the outside, white on the inside.
yeah,
Yeah,
which you know,
I'm a Twinkie because I'm yellow on the outside.
yeah. Well, at least Twinkies are delicious. I don't like coconuts.
Yeah, I don't really like coconuts either. I actually like the flavor of coconut. I don't like the texture of it.
Yeah, it's not the
Anyways,
taste; it's the consistency.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
so yeah, I think that's about it, right? You have anything else for sinners?
not for sinners, but there was something I wanted to say about 28 years later. The poem that played during the trailer, and it wasn't part of the movie.
All right, the
Do
boots.
you know that poem?
It's from World War II? One?
It's actually before that, I think. It's
Really?
I don't know it exactly. It's not uh from that war. It's from a different
Is
war that the British had in Africa.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know
Um,
that.
yeah, and Rudyard Kipling wrote it as a way to understand soldiers' thoughts while they were marching um,
Mm.
over Africa. And the reason I ask you, since you're in the military, I don't know if you would have done this, but I guess through some training, they actually force people to listen to that poem over and over again.
I could see it being a good cadence for marching, honestly. It's
Yeah.
I'm assuming whoever wrote it with military in mind they were thinking about the marching, which is why all the boots were, boots, right?
Yeah.
So it would make a good cadence for marching.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. But it was, yeah, it's the SRE or SERE school, Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape School.
Interesting.
And they used it to train troops on how to survive if they are captured or tortured. So they literally would play it over and over again.
Oh, to
Them,
write. I did hear about this.
yeah.
I want to say, who was that one guy who was running for president? McCain? McCain?
McCain, yeah.
He was a
He was a
prisoner of war.
POW.
And I
Yeah.
remember him, I think I remember him saying something about that song being played. Not song, but poem being
Yeah.
played or something
Yeah.
in the speakers. I could be wrong
Yeah.
about that too. I could be like
I
mixing
don't know.
things in my mind. I tend to do that a lot.
Could be, but yeah, it's they use it to train soldiers so that they don't break under
Mm,
torture.
I could
Um,
see that.
yeah.
So it's got to be kind of PTSD, watching this movie. Hopefully
Yeah.
nobody that was tortured by that song went and saw this movie. I think that was really interesting too, and they had like little bits of like flashes of different things in this one. I'd like to rewatch it and kind of maybe break it down more as to what they were intercutting, because there's a part where they cut in like a deer, they cut in like a couple other things,
Mhm.
or like kind of flash on the screen real quick and then go away,
Yeah.
especially during that
Hmm.
part with the poem. Um,
Yeah.
So I'd like to see. I'd like to look it over again and see what they're doing, because in the first movie they kind of do something similar, which which is why I love the first movie a lot, because like I was saying, it shows the monstrosity of humanity, and the beginning of the movie, it opens up with all these um uh different, like chaos and like riots and stuff like that, humans acting out with rage, right? It shows that prior to the virus, so it's kind of showing you, oh, we were always this way, right? And then
Mhm.
the virus breaks out, and then it happens. um, so there was a reason to have all those things cut in the beginning, because it's showing you that we are the monsters before and we are the monsters after, and it's really well done. So I'm assuming, being that it's directed by the same dude, that there is probably a bit more meaning there than we actually saw. So I'd like to give it another watch.
Um, Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. What did you think of him?
I get it. You know,
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, it's so what I thought was cool about this one thing I did notice about the things that were being intercut, where they're showing some shots of like old armies shooting bows and arrows and stuff, like bow and arrows and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Kind of and it kind of reminded me a bit of Primal, that Primal episode I was talking about, where they kind of have to revert back to a more primal state to survive. And so in this case, it's them kind of having to revert back to older ways to survive the apocalypse. Not necessarily the apocalypse, because everyone else is good; they're just quarantined. But to survive the situation that they're in, and so I think when that happens, it's really easy to become that kind of person. It's easy.
Hmm.
It's especially like he's like the hero of his town. You know what I mean? Because he goes out there and he hunts and he comes back, and he now, and kind of does it with his kid. When he comes back from his trips, he could say whatever the fuck he wants about
Yeah.
his trip. He can make it a legend. He can make it a crazy story, and he does it with his kid too. And he's like, the kid's like, "Yo, I was missing every shot." He's like, "No, you weren't." He's like, "You did good, bro."
Yeah.
uh, so it's easy to become that kind of person. So that's why I say I get it.
Hmm.
Obviously, what he was doing was kind of fucked up, because he had a wife that was dying of cancer, and he was cheating on her with some woman in the village, and uh, yeah, but I don't blame him for
Yeah.
it.
No, I don't blame him for that. That's understandable as messed up as it is. Um, I just thought I kind of half expected to see him show up like at the end of the movie, like going after trying to find his son, but he never did. Like he just stood in the village.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. Like, I thought eventually he would show up,
Yeah.
but he didn't. So I guess he was just kind of a piece of shit, through and through, because I think that's 'cause the kid kind of mentions it before he leaves. He's like, "Do you want mom to die?" And with even though he probably hated the fact that his kid left too, it's in a way, I think it's kind of something he wanted, his wife to be
Yeah.
gone, so that he can now continue this life with this other lady. Um, but through it, he lost his kid too, which sucks. But um, I think in a way, he was getting what he wanted, so he stayed. He didn't really go after him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was just kind of a piece of shit. Um, when when things like that happen, like I feel like there's so many people, there's so many times where people like look at it and they're like, "Yeah, I wouldn't do that. That's fucked up." You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
but you don't know, right? Because that you
No.
probably may never be in that situation. And through life experience, I've seen people, get in certain situations, and their true colors come out. You know what I mean? And you're like, "Oh shit, I never saw you that way." You know what I mean?
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
myself included. I think there's been times where I acted out doing some thing I never thought I would do, and then, but because of the situation I was in, I did something unlike my character, and
Yeah.
that's just the nature of humanity, and that's why this movie's good. That's why
Yeah.
it shows humanity for what it is. Um, and accepting ourselves and death and life and all that, which makes it beautiful. It was actually, the movie was more beautiful than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it was. I was kind of just expecting, something similar to the first two movies, zombies running, some jump scares,
Mhm.
but the whole story with the son and his mom, like it was a beautiful story. I liked it.
It was very beautiful. Um, yeah, I really like when they're trying to get the kid to accept the fact that there's nothing they can do, and
Yeah,
his innocent brain thinks like there's got to be something, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And they're like, nah, it's just it is what it is, buddy. Like you gotta
yeah,
accept it, you know. So that was that was rough, but that's the goddamn truth.
yeah.
I wanted to move into suggestions for these movies. Eric, do you want to give any suggestions for? You want to start with Sinners or 28 Years?
28 years. I don't really know what to suggest for other than the first movie, 28 Days Later. Um,
For sure, watch 28 Days Later if you guys have
yeah,
not. This is a good standalone movie, but 28 Days Later, like I said, you could skip 28 weeks. Honestly, you don't even need to watch 28 weeks. 28 Days and 28 Years, both directed and written by the same people, and I swear, like if you go into it with this in mind, you'll see it. The for 28 Days is shows you the monstrosity of humanity and how we are evil and fucked up people, and we're that primal monstrous side of us exists. And then this movie, 28 Years Later, is about the good side of humanity, like the accepting life and life and rebirth and accepting life for what it is. It shows you that we are not just monsters, we're humans. Um, and
yeah.
I feel like there's a duality between those two movies. So for sure, watch 28 Days Later. Other zombie things I think I would suggest. Uh, I really like Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead.
On the Dead. It's good.
That's a good one. Train to Busan is a really good one.
I I liked Army of the Dead. That was good.
I liked Army of the Dead too.
Yeah,
That was good. It was an interesting concept and it was really well shot because it's Zack Snyder. Um,
yeah,
so that one was cool. Um, this one's a little off brand, but it's a zombie uh, story. It's called High School of the Dead. Um,
yeah,
Now, if you're not into anime, I wouldn't watch this. There's a lot of fan service in it. There's a whole episode where the girls are taking baths. I know that might actually motivate
yeah.
people to go watch it, to be quite honest. But like, it's beside the fan service. Really cool zombie story. Really cool action scenes. Um, and there's a character in it. If I was in a zombie apocalypse, I'd want her on my side. Her name's Psycho. She wields a katana. Super cool.
Yeah.
Any other zombie movies you want to recommend for 28 Years Later?
Zombie movies. Yeah, maybe Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, right?
No,
Yeah, that's a good one.
it's British. It has zombies.
Yeah,
It's a good movie.
Shaun of the Dead's good.
Yeah.
Cool. And you got any suggestions
So
for Sinners?
for Sinners, the two movies I was talking about, Robert Rodriguez,
From Dusk Till Dawn?
uh, from Dusk Till Dawn and The Faculty. And on top of The Faculty, I'll want to say Invasion of the Body Snatchers,
Invasion of the Body
which
Snatchers.
I actually haven't seen.
Me
I think there's
either.
a few, but the one I did watch was the one with Nicole Kidman, which I think was either just called Snatchers or Body Snatchers. They didn't have the
Body
full title,
Snatchers,
but it was uh,
I think.
a remake of that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Classic horror movies. Good.
Yep.
Um, yeah. Those. I think those two that really you should watch if you're a fan of Sinners.
I think for me, I would say um, uh, not only Dusk Till Dawn, but also Inglorious Bastards, just because of that scene. That's kind of
Yeah.
reminiscent. Um, and Tarantino's amazing, so if you haven't seen it, go see it. Um, and then uh, The Shining. there's a shot in Sinners that
Oh yeah.
was an homage to The Shining, um, and it's a really cool shot. And
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's not really like this movie, but those two shots. That shot is obviously taken from The Shining. So um,
One movie I was going to suggest, and it really isn't anything like this movie, but we were talking about the Irish and uh, their oppression, and um, Jack O'Connell and him saying that he identifies as Irish is Kneecap. Which Kneecap
I want
is
to see
a
that. I haven't watched it yet.
it. It's so good. It's a Kneecap is a rap group from Ireland, and they rap in Irish, and they say it's Irish, not Gaelic. They say Gaelic is I forget. I don't know if they said it was a dialect or something, but it's not a language.
Interesting.
Uh, they said that their language is Irish, and the British apparently, or at least from the movie, they don't want people to speak it. And they don't, and the official language of Ireland is English, and they're trying to keep their language alive. And yeah, it's a good movie, and I should watch it if you like foreign films, if you like Ireland, if you like rap and music. It's good. And it's the true, well, I don't know if it's the true story. I think it's fictionalized, but it's the actual rap group that stars it as themselves in the movie.
Yeah, I've been meaning to watch that for a minute now. I
Yeah,
know you have it, right?
yeah, I do.
I'll have to watch it. Another movie, other movies I wanted to suggest for Sinners, 30 Days of Night.
Oh, great movie.
It's a good one. Uh, Public Enemy with Johnny Depp. Nothing really like this movie, but takes place around the same time. People wearing suits, shooting guns, and it's kind of a movie I think people forgot about. And
Yeah,
I liked it when it came out. I haven't watched it in a
it's a good
while.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, good movie, good music, great cast, Christian Bale. Yeah,
And another one is Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? Um,
yeah,
I feel like these two movies are connected because they're both kind of they have both inspiration. They have inspirations from Robert Johnson. Robert Johnson's actually even kind of in that movie as Tommy Johnson, and also I feel like there's a duality between these two movies too, where I feel like Sinners is like the dark side. It's like a dark horror movie about the blues, right? And then you have Oh Brother Where Art Thou, where it's a light-hearted comedy about the gospel, right? And I feel like there's a duality there. So Oh Brother Where Art Thou, it's a good one.
great movie. Yeah,
I love that movie. I think I watch it every now and then. I feel like I gotta watch it like at least once a year, maybe once every couple of years, because yeah, I love it.
yeah, I definitely put it on every now and then. Just it's a great movie. Yeah,
I definitely listen to the soundtrack a lot.
yeah, I just bought the soundtrack on CD because I've been listening to CDs in my car when I'm driving.
Oh,
So
old school,
yeah,
nice. Gotta get a Walkman next, Eric. You
yeah.
gotta you gotta start de-evolving.
I have a Walkman. I have a little tape player because I got the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack on cassette tape.
Cassette,
So yeah,
nice.
yeah.
I just watched Guardians because Ari and I watching Marvel movies.
Oh yeah,
Love that soundtrack.
I should like it.
She liked it. She liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
It'd be sad.
it is. It opens sad and kind of ends sad.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And then the third movie's sad.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Peter Quill kind of has a rough life.
yeah, definitely.
You wouldn't think so though, because he's so like happy and silly all the time.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. So you want to skip some of the other things, being that we've already been recording for like an hour and a half?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
I don't know what else we had to do, but
Technically, we'd still do like what we've been watching and what we're looking forward to, and some final thoughts. But I feel like we just did final thoughts. So
There was one thing I wanted to say about the character Ramek in 28 Days, or not, Heart and Sinners.
yeah,
Um, I don't know if not a lot of people have really said much about this, but they mentioned in the film that with the vampire, the soul of the person is still trapped inside. And
hmm
I feel like that's why Ramek wants Sammy, because Sammy has that gift where when he plays his music, he pierces the veil between past and future. And Ramek, who has been around for I don't know how long now, misses, or at least the human soul trapped inside of him misses his people, misses his family. And if he were to get Sammy to become a vampire and play his music, he would be able to see his family again.
yeah, yeah. That's definitely a thing. I think they actually even mentioned in the movie because there's when they were standing at the door, and Remick says like, "Just give us Sammy. We want you. Just want Sammy." And then he like, mentions something about how he wants to see his family again. So that's definitely what it is.
Yes. So like even though like the vampire like just wants to get as many people as he can, but the human soul in him he longs for family and to be with see the people that he is supposed to be with. And um so like even though like this is an evil like entity character, um there's a little bit of humanity in him and misery. Like he's and you know the old saying like misery loves company,
Yeah,
and he's trying to get as many people as he can. So
yeah. He's trying. Yeah, he's trying to like put his. I feel like in a way put his family back together, which is why I think when he's
yeah,
playing Rocky Road to Dublin, even though everyone in with him is black except for those two other white people, they're all jamming
yeah,
out to Rocky Road to Dublin, and even actually kind of helping him play the music. Um,
yeah,
so I feel like in a way he's kind of gathering his people again.
yeah,
Yeah, Sinners is a beautiful movie. I love that.
yeah. It
I
is.
love that scene where he pierces the veil. It's done so well.
Yeah, it is done so well.
And it's a Warner that's going through the crowd, and you see all the music that's being that gets influenced by the blues later on. You see all the music that gets pulled from to that influenced the blues from the past, and then yeah, and then you have the camera going out to the roof, which is symbolic of him piercing the veil, right? And then the
Yeah,
vampires show up exactly like how his the kind of the the monologue in the beginning
yeah.
kind of says it will. So it's beautiful. Ryan
It
Coogler did
really is.
such a good job.
Yeah,
I'm surprised there's so many people that actually went and saw it and they were like, "Nah, it wasn't good."
it
And
wasn't good.
I'm like,
I think everything we just talked about just went right over their head.
that's probably what it was.
You know,
Yeah,
you know.
it's
There's like I was told it was about vampires. It takes so long to get to the vampires.
yeah, yeah. I think I think when that happens, I feel like I'm like that guy that's like, "But did you get it? Like, did you get it?" You know,
Yeah.
in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where he gives him a CD. Uh,
Oh yeah.
yeah, Russell he gives Russell Brand a CD, and he's like, "But did you get it?" That's how I feel with
Yeah.
when people like don't like good stuff like this. Like, you probably just didn't
Yeah.
understand it, you know.
Yeah. So
Um,
yes, we're calling all of you dumb if you don't like it.
stupid. No, I shouldn't say that word.
Yeah, don't say that word. You
Canceled.
accidentally said it last time.
Dang. I think that word's coming back though.
Is it?
I don't know. I don't know. I
I
just
don't
try to
know.
make it more okay. Um, but yeah. What are we doing for the next? I feel like we could talk about this movie forever. I want to just keep talking about it. What are we doing for the
Yeah.
next episode?
Um, I
But all right, we'll do that movie. Sounds good to me.
All right.
All right, well, everybody, I don't know why I always wait till the end to say this, but um, a lot of people that are watching our content on YouTube, our long form and our short form, and even on Spotify, we're getting a lot of views, but not a lot of people are subscribing. Yo, why not, bro? If you
Yeah, why
like
not?
the show, if you watching the show, like, subscribe, comment, all that jazz, yo. It helps us, bro. You want to help us or what? Come on, bro.
Literally cost you nothing.
Cost you nothing. Click of a button.
Yeah.
Dang, I should make slogans. But yeah, do all that. Do me a favor, comment below what your favorite zombie movie is, because there's a ton of them. I could probably go on a whole rant about the popularity of zombies, how they started, and how it ended. But that's for another time. But comment below your favorite zombie movie, because there's so many.
Cool.
And it better not be zombie strippers.
No.
But all right, you got anything for them, Eric?
No. I don't.
All right, there you go.
All
Eric,
right.
Eric has spoken. All right, bye everybody. Love you guys.
Bye. See you guys.